Hello and welcome to the Samplecast. I'm Ruben Cornell. This is episode number 30. We're swiftly sliding into middle age at a rate of knots, and this is a very special episode. I'm actually going on a break for the next 3 weeks or so, but in the meantime there is a fantastic competition, the biggest we've ever run. So as we go along in this show, you'll see this little star pop up in the corner when a lot of the products are mentioned. That means this product is up for grabs. Nearly every single library in this show can be won. So thank you to all the developers for supporting the Samplecast and donating their goodies to us. All you've got to do to win these is to sign up for the new Samplecast newsletter. It's a really easy process. Just go to the Samplecast website, click on the newsletter link, and you'll be able to pop in your email address and sign up. And then I'll use those email addresses to pick the winners at random. Good luck. There's more information about this on the Facebook page of the Samplecast, on Twitter, and on the Samplecast website itself at thesamplecast.com. I look forward to announcing the winners in 3 weeks' time. This week's roundup is a big one, and as I said before, most of these products are up for grabs. The first one is massive Whooshes from Gothic Instruments. Just be aware that it runs in the full version of Contact, version 5.6 and above, and is exclusively available from Time and Space, so head over there. You can check it out. It actually comes from the makers of the Dronar libraries and also Sculptor Impacts. I've reviewed several of those libraries over the last few months. And basically they've used the Sculptor Impacts engine and manipulated that into a whoosh creator. Yes, this is a sound effects designer specifically for whooshes and transitions. You've got 130 presets here. You can design your own using the 3 layers. There are attack, peak and decay controls, and you can also randomize these functions too. It looks like a really useful instrument for trailer and sound design. Next up, it's an expansion pack from Toontrack. It's EasyX Big Rock Drums, again available from Time and Space. I reviewed Toontrack's EasyX Dream Pop in a previous edition of the Samplecast, and I was pretty impressed by it. Now this particular library is another expansion for Easy Drums 2 and Superior Drummer 2, and it focuses on rock drums and kits from the 1970s. It's been recorded in Nashville by Grammy Award-winning engineer Dave Cobb, and there's 5 different kits here, including Gretsch, Ludwig and Camco drums too. You've also got classic Zildjian cymbals. Not only can you win this pack in the Samplecast competition this week, but you can also win a full version of Easy Drummer 2 in the giveaway. Thank you to Time and Space. This next product is really close to my heart. It's Maximo by Sonokinetic. I've been working on the testing, the videos, the manual and a demo for this too. In fact, I'm going to talk about my demo in the Composer demo section of the show a little bit later on. So this is in the style of Capriccio, Grosso, Minimal and Sotto. This is a phrased based library with a really epic, hard-hitting scope. They've used a 101 piece orchestra and they've doubled the normal amount of cellos and basses, and they've also included a extra low set of woodwinds, extra bassoons and contrabassoons. This runs in the Contact player. It's 37GB in the 24-bit version, and you've got 3 normal NKI patches with mixable microphone positions and 3 light patches as well for those with smaller systems. There are hundreds of phrases here, a randomization option too, and you've got the usual harmonic shift, offset and double and half time options. So anyone familiar with previous phrase-based libraries from Sonokinetic will know how easy they are to play and how simple it is to get some really interesting, innovative and inspirational phrases. For this product, I've done a little bit of a different video than I would normally do. I've actually done a playthrough video so that you can see what all the fuss is about and see how easy it is to program Maximo. Check it out at the Sonokinetic website. Fluffy Audio released their Solo, Oboe and Bassoon libraries this week, and these 2 products are based on the same engine that they used for Simple Violin. That I reviewed in a previous episode of the Samplecast, so I did find it pretty easy to use and quite flexible. No reason to think that these woodwinds won't be the same. These instruments run in the full version of Contact, and both the Oboe and Bassoons you can get as part of the Woodwinds Pack 2, and there's also bundle discounts. You can check it out at the Fluffy Audio website. The Oboe is around 4GB in size, the Bassoon a little bigger, it's 6GB, and both have over a 3-octave range. There's 3 legato articulations and 3 dynamic layers in there. You've also got staccato round robins and 3 different microphone positions. There's a convolution engine with 17 impulse responses on board, and I've had a listen to the demos. They sound pretty good, I must say. Check the details out at the Fluffy Audio website. Strezov Sampling have been working hard on their next percussion library, and it's Tupans Extreme. These run in a full version of Contact. They're about 5GB in size, and it's a brand new percussion library that's perfect for action blockbuster scores and trailers. So the Tupan is a Bulgarian drum. It's played with a beta and a stick. Quite an unusual instrument, not something that personally I'd heard of before, but I'm well familiar with it now. You've got 3 different ensemble sizes here. Also, there are sound design ensembles for massive impacts too. This runs in the same engine as Thunder Extreme. You can see the Samplecast review of that to see exactly how it works. And I was really impressed by that particular library, especially the user customizable mapping, and Tupans has the same thing. This is available as a prize in the Samplecast giveaway. Don't miss it at Strezov Sampling. The last product is a brand new one from Sonuscore. In fact, it's so new that it might not even be released by the time this show airs, so just bear with them. You'll be able to see it on their website pop up within the next few days, hopefully. It's Lyrical cello and runs in the full version of Contact 5.6 and above, and it's about 1.5 gigs. This samples a solo cello in phrases and also has a legato version as well. So the phrases that you've got have 12 different themes, and each of the themes has 5 phrases and 2 different endings to the phrases. The phrases have been split into 3 different sections, so you can mix and match them, and you can also change the key and speed of those too. The legato instrument has 2 different types of legato, short and long, and this should be a really useful instrument for creating kind of wistful, ambient, lonesome cello scores. It's definitely something that I was impressed with the demos of, so have a look at it at the Sonuscore website. We've got a very special guest for this week's composer demo. It's Ruben Cornell. Thanks, Ruben. Thank you so much for having me. I must say that you're looking very handsome and talented and gorgeous today. This week's composer demo is written by me, and it was done as a demo for Sonokinetic's Maximo. This is a new library from Sonokinetic. I was asked to write a demo for it, and I thought it was a good opportunity to show off my kind of junky Excel skills. So I'm going to show you exactly how it was put together on the Samplecast podcast. You can listen to me chat about it there. Welcome to the Samplecast big review of Orchestral Tools Berlin Brass. Now, I covered a lot of the features of Berlin Brass last week in Samplecast 29, so head on over to that for a bit more information, but this is the review. I've been playing with Berlin Brass for a few days, and I've definitely got a handle on it now. So the basic information is that it's about €800. It's had a couple of discounts in the early stages and pre-sales, but the proper price is €800. It runs in the full version of Contact and Contact Player 2. It's 185 gigabytes compressed, which is obviously quite a huge library. And here you've got 4 horns, 3 trumpets, 2 trombones, a bass trombone and a tuba. And they've all been sampled in multiple articulations. You've also got ensemble patches which have been captured from all the samples of the instruments playing together. There's 3 different types of attacks here and 3 different legato styles, and there's loads of articulations. I'm not going to run down all of them, but you've got trills, swells, crescendo, legato, repetition, that sort of thing. There's a full list online if you want the information about those. One thing that's worth mentioning is there's no mutes in this library. So Berlin Brass took a long time to delve into and really get into the nitty-gritty of what was available. There are so many articulations and so many different microphone positions that it took a while to go through everything, but I've kind of sorted out what I liked and what I didn't like about the library into 2 very distinct categories. So first off, the pros. Now, the sounds for each player's instrument are very individual. You can hear the difference between the players and hear where they're placed in the soundstage. I really love that. The players do mix well together nicely with one another, and you can sort of sense the different players. So if you've got a horn section playing, you can hear, even if you've got the same MIDI data, you can hear where those players are. It's a really lovely effect, not something I'd heard a great deal of before. I do like the way the library handles the different articulations, both in the capsule system and also the individual articulations themselves. Trills are a highlight. You just play one key, hold down one key and play another, and it will work out the trill for you. Also, the runs sound great, and the legato switches in automatically when you play fast, so you get a different sound. You don't have to think about using the runs patch particularly. You can just play fast and that legato style will kick in. I do also love the Zampano trumpet. You get a kind of Old West vibe from that. I mentioned the capsule system before. It was something that I had no problem with myself because I've already got Berlin Winds and I'm well used to playing with that. I have to say the capsule system is really useful. You can basically load your own articulations onto individual key switches and switch between them quite easily. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's the basics. The capsule system is something which maybe new users will have to spend a little time getting used to, but I'm really glad that that system has been maintained in Berlin Brass. Overall, Berlin Brass is a great library and I really love the way it played. I love the sound of it, but I'm going to be incredibly nitpicky here with some of the details. And I think it is important because this library, as I said at the beginning of the review, is €800. So it is not a cheap library at all, and it's something that I was expecting to be pretty much perfect out of the box. Of course, no library is going to be perfect, but there's definitely some real niggles that I had problems with here. First off, the size of the library. Some people are going to need to buy new hard drives because of this, but it is massive, so that's going to be a little bit too much for some people's system, especially when you start to add in the additional mic positions and lots of articulations in the capsule system. So the size of this library is going to be prohibitive for some people, and certainly for me, if I was using a mobile rig, I would probably find this pretty much unusable. It would be nice if Orchestral Tools provided some light patches so that people that were on the run or didn't have such big systems could actually download this and still get some use out of it. Also, the fact that they haven't included any mutes does mean that there's going to be another purchase further down the line to include those. Nothing against libraries that come in sections, but obviously some libraries in similar and even slightly cheaper price brackets do include mutes, so that's a bit of a deal for me. Now on to something which is a little bit of a bigger deal. There are some big inconsistencies in the playing and the dynamics, especially this is apparent when using Close Mics 1 and Close Mics 2. So I'll give you an example. The Horn 3 sustained accent patch has much more attack on some notes than on others. That's obviously a playing and editing problem, but it's something that I definitely noticed. I also spotted some horrible clicking loops that were no good at all. This was especially prevalent in the lowest dynamic of Horn 3 legato. On the notes below middle C, specifically the F was particularly bad. I didn't have time to go through everything, but I did notice it on a couple of other instruments too. Some of the legato scripting is also a bit dodgy. When you play the instruments in the extended range, this does happen as well. You get a kind of an up and then a down effect, which I'm sure is not perfect. Trumpet 3 is especially guilty of this. Now, as I said, I am being very fussy, but because the library is quite expensive, I would have expected these problems to be smoothed out before release. That said, Orchestral tools have a good reputation for updating their products and responding to feedback. I took a little look at the version of Berlin Winds that I own. It's actually 1.7, and I looked on the website and Berlin Winds has been updated to 2.1 in the meantime. So there have been lots of updates to that over the last few years as that has been released, and I expect that Berlin Brass will also have updates as well. So in conclusion, I think this is a really good start for Berlin Brass, and although it has a few teething troubles, I've heard some stunning work online already by those who've picked the library up nice and early. Those early adopters will perhaps be feeling a little bit hacked off by some of the bugs and artifacts, but they did probably get it for about €200 less than the normal price, so I don't feel too sad for them, I have to say. In terms of the marketplace, I think that if I already had the new Spitfire brass or East West Hollywood brass or Cine Samples Cine brass, I would have to think very carefully before dropping €800 on another brass library. But if it's any consolation, I think that Orchestral tools are really in this for the long haul, and some of those other libraries that I mentioned, perhaps they won't be as updated as often or for as long a time as Orchestral tools will be. So I'd like to say if Orchestral tools are happy to keep updating Berlin Brass and ironing out those bugs, then I'm happy to recommend it. Loads of bargains in this week's show, and I want to make a point of this first one because here at the Samplecast I don't just focus on the big developers. I also love to include smaller libraries from independent producers. So this one is from a guy called Alexandra Sparf. It's the ForteBaby piano, and he's such a small developer that he doesn't even have his own website or anything like that, so he's releasing and promoting through VI Control, which is very industrious. It's a cool little piano, and the library samples a 1924 Bluthner grand piano in just forte playing, so there's no really kind of soft articulations here, it's just one kind of dynamic. It runs in the full version of Contact, and it really is the simplest piano library you'll ever see. It's got a super simple interface, nothing on it at all, but it does feature neighbouring round robin switching and also key and string release samples too. It's just $15. Check out the link in the description below, which will take you straight to Alexander's page. Our next collection is Big Bang Percussion 2 from Sonivox. It's available via VST Bus. Just have a look at the description link below. This is 15 gigabytes of cinematic percussion, so you've got 200 percussion instruments here. And this is a separate plugin, it's not for Contact, but it runs in PC and Mac and has AU, VST, AAX and RTAS support. Within the product you've got customizable MIDI learn and triggering, and also note repeat functions, which lets you build up huge rhythms pretty quickly. And you've also got the intelligent rhythm control so that your beats stay in perfect sync, even if you're playing them in live. There is a trial version available, you can check it out at the VST Buzz website, but at the moment the full version is 75% off, so it runs in at €39.99. Definitely worth a look. VST Buzz have got a €100 voucher available for prize-winning newsletter subscribers. Thank you, VST Buzz. Next up, it's percussion from New Loops. This is available for Contact Patches, Ableton Live. You've also got Reason refills there and separate WAVs as well. So there's nearly 1,300 percussion sounds here, including over 600 classic drum machine samples. You've got 30 different percussion instruments, including shaker and tambourine loops as well. And there's slightly different specs for each version of this library. You can choose which one you want to purchase, but the Contact one has 26 different Contact instruments and is about 670 megabytes. This was almost £30, it's now almost 20. I want to say hello to Stuart Keenan, who contacted me on Twitter. He sells his packs as part of a website called A Sound Effect, and he goes under the moniker Glitched Tones. He's got a sale on at the moment, and the sound packs look very interesting, and they are very, very cheap. His most recent one is called Atmosphere. It's just $6 and it's an experimental sound design, noise and granular synthesis sample pack. It's about 1 gigabyte in size, and he's also got an interesting variety of other packs, and they run in at between 50 to 75% off in this particular sale. So they're really pocket money prices, $6 here, $3 there. There's definitely going to be something that's worth picking up. I'd also recommend having a look at the website where these products are hosted. The blog is called A Sound Effect, and it's a really interesting read filled with interviews full of sound designers and other features too. I got lost in it for, I have to say, probably about half an hour or so, just reading up on a lot of things that I really didn't know about from the sound design world. Have a look at it. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this week's Samplecast. It's been a pleasure to put it together, and thank you to all the developers for offering those prizes. As I said at the top of the show, don't forget to head over to the Samplecast website. You can sign up to the newsletter there and you'll be in with a shot of winning, I think, about 9 or 10 different prizes, so it's a pretty good prize pool. You've got a good chance of winning. For more information about the show, head over to the Facebook page, there's Twitter, you can email us directly if you've got any questions, and you can also check out the information on all the other shows on YouTube and the Samplecast website too. I'll be back towards the end of November, beginning of December, and I'll be putting together new shows for you then. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye now.